Hey, good morning, folks. It's Kevin here on your, I think it's Tuesday. I apologize, I'm out of sync. But yes, Tuesday in late June. Don't even know the date. But as you know, I had my little brief vacation last week for a couple days. While I was gone on our last, day and a half before we were to come home, our place caught on fire. Not ever what you want to hear when you're trying to reset the mind a little bit, but nonetheless, I'm out here where I'll show you what happened. I know some of you guys probably saw it on the news and have been asking about it, but here's we're out here on the Deschutes rim, and I'll just let you guys look at it if I can make this work, and then we'll talk markets. This won't take long. But so yeah, there's the Deschutes River, the railroad. Something down by the railroad caught it on fire. It was either a campfire or a railroad. It's hard to say. Anyway, so that and our wheat fields are up here where I'm standing. But the good news is the wheat crop for this year is on the other side of the place, so we didn't lose any wheat. Anyway, so it wrapped around and came into this canyon. This is a big canyon. And my house is up from this canyon, a couple miles from here. Probably 3 miles from here. So, anyway, the stuff on top was easy to catch, easy to fight. The stuff down here is not. It's very steep and rugged, not very many of they turned into a project fire because it started on some BLM ground, which is good. Project fire means you get air support. If it's just our little apartment, we never get any air support. So what happened was there's some big rock slides up here. You can't really see them when you get around the corner. It's about 1,400 vertical feet down. There's big rock slides on both sides, and that should stop the fire. The problem is the fire got started it was burning up the very bottom, which is all vegetation, and unless someone went down there and brushed out the bottom, it was just going to continue all the way up until our place, and would have gutted us pretty bad if that continued. And there's still some pretty heavy heat, about 100 feet from the bottom line down there, but I'm hoping they'll work on that today. It's just one of those things where you can figure out what has to happen. It's just someone has to do it, and whoever's going to do it needs to know what they're doing. We did have a good crew yesterday that did know what they were doing, so they're the ones that went down and started the brush out, but they're still, like I say, 100 feet from the line is not very far. Tree torches or something, they could lose it and we were stuck, but hopefully it'll hold. Anyway, so that's the fire. I'll beam back over here and talk markets for a minute. There we are. Okay, so markets, really strange markets, really odd. The amount of selling we've seen the last, few weeks is just incredible. And it comes with a backdrop of tightening world supplies of everything. Okay, wheat, corn, not so much soybeans. Soybeans are still the most bearish of the three grains, in my opinion. China's late to the party. There's the tariff chatter. Interesting statistic. The last time funds were this short at this time of year was during the trade war. So the funds are trying to, I guess they're assuming that's all coming back. I had some hopes that if we do, with that phase one deal, basically that framework already in place, that we wouldn't go back to another trade war. And why have to do all that over? So we'll see how it all goes. But anyway, that's just an interesting stat, I thought. But so corn's really getting pummeled right now. It's kind of hard to explain why, because the amount of flooding in some places there's going to be a lot of loss there. A lot. I mean, I'm sure some places on the fringes are excited, and they're gonna, they're gonna have a really strong start to their crop as we get into July. But the amount of acres being lost and then the prevent plant acres is significant. So I don't think you can discount it. At the same time, you got the Brazilian harvest, which is really going fast, way faster than normal, and that suggests that yields are poor. So that Safrinha yield, we never had a rally based on the Safrinha corn, and it was one of the worst conditions they've ever had. So it's just bizarre. And then when you switch to wheat, we've taken 15 million metric tons of wheat off of that Russian crop and a couple off of Ukraine, and we had an immediate market response. We flushed the shorts out of there, got them to neutral, and then they went right back after it. And people are saying, well, that's factored in. Well, is it factored in? We haven't even harvested it yet. The early harvest results, there were a couple good fields right off the bat, but they're tucked in up against a mountain range and get some showers that nowhere else gets. As we got a little farther off of that mountain range, the yields started coming in about 40% below last year in Russia. So that's in their #1 producing region. And the Sovakan guy is even saying that as we go farther into harvest, you're going to continue to see yields slip. Some of the north central areas of the wheat belt will have an increase. I think they've had some decent rains and they were far enough behind that they will benefit. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, so how do we navigate this market? What I'm thinking, we've got a couple things at play. One, we're seeing our white wheat basis come back. We're not seeing our hard red basis yet. This isn't a hard red deal. The hard red's going to be delayed. But as far as white wheat, our basis is back to, plus 50, plus 60. We're getting into some ranges where we can do some good, which is a little more normal. And we've got a good crop coming. I mean, it's not huge, but it's some places are going to be huge, but there's a big pocket in the middle of Washington that had enough problems. It's just not going to be, it's going to take the top off pretty good. So I'm still kind of holding in that slightly above average range. We'll see when we get into the Washington. There's going to be some big numbers out of Oregon and some big numbers out of southern Washington. But as we get farther north, I think you'll start seeing harvest go pretty quick. And that we'll find out in a few weeks. We're not there yet. So, but my thought with that basis returning to normal and just these futures headed down to $5, which just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, maybe we got to go make a big double bottom down here, and which is, kind of a typical wheat bottom, which we're not that far away. We're maybe 20-30 cents away from it. So that might be what we're up to. And if that happens, I think the play is going to be to get that basis locked in. There's two ways we can do that. We can do it by selling cash wheat and then buying the call option to go out to December, or we can, even March, I mean, we'll see what they cost. They're going to be pricey out to March, but it'd be nice to have that time. Because I'd be looking for a multi-dollar move, between now and March. And the other way you can do it is have your elevator do it. You can, just do the basis lock contract. You lock in the basis and then let the futures go. And then you lock the futures before your contract expires. And that's another way to lock the basis. And how we do that is going to depend on your cash flow and if you're paying interest or not. If we're paying interest and storage, then I think the best route is to just sell it and then move over into the call options. If you're not paying interest, you want your income deferred to January or whenever your fiscal ends or starts, then I would go more into the, you know, the basis lockwise, because it's going to pay better than the call option would, assuming the market gets out of this $5 range at some point. It just, like I say, it just feels odd. It feels like we're fighting something. I've never seen a chart really do what the wheat chart has done, where it runs all the shorts out. We have a buck 60, 70 rally, and then we give the whole thing back without a change in fundamentals. It's just odd. You know, I expected a pullback. We got up to that peak there. We sold some old crop, and I thought we'd back up 40, 50 cents, maybe even 60. Under no circumstance did I think we'd drop the whole rally. Yet we're down again today. So very odd. We've got a major report coming up, which is grain stocks, June end of the year grain stocks for wheat, third quarter grain stocks for corn and soybeans. So we'll see what that does. Anyway, but I'm probably going to make a move this week on old crop, get rid of it completely, move into these December calls. I was hoping we'd see a cash bump to do that, but that's probably unlikely. Exports are strong. No matter what your merchandiser says, they are strong. We saw major, I was on that vacation last week when the export sales came out, but I think it was banging around 600,000 tons, which is a great number. And on top of that, we had 7.5 million bushels of white wheat, which was fantastic. And we're priced to sell. So if you're an importer, this is their moment, and I think we're going to see them go. We're way ahead of last year's pace, and we'll go from there. But anyway, that's about all I got. I'll put stuff together on an email and get back in service here. I apologize for being gone a couple days. I always tell myself, don't leave between June 1st and October. It just is, you just can't. Every time I leave, something like this happens, and it sucks. Stuff catches on fire, and anyway, so I'll stay home. I'll stay home till October, and hopefully I'll go to the beach and go crabbing or something. But anyway, the good news is hopefully they'll have it all done after today, if we can hold it today in the canyon, and if they've got a crew down there, that'd be good. I mean, I figured if they weren't going to do it, I was going to have to, but I'm getting too old and out of shape to be hiking down 1,400 feet with a chainsaw. But I'll do it if it means I'll save our place, though. I mean, juniper trees are not the prettiest, but I'll take green juniper over dead juniper, because dead juniper trees don't disappear. They stay there forever. So anyway, well, I've got some crew guy coming here to talk to me. So you guys have a good day, and call if you need me. Thank you.